Pull boxes are required at specific intervals in conduit runs. The National Electrical Code (NEC) mandates that on straight runs, pull boxes must be placed no more than 100 feet apart. For bends in a conduit run, the maximum distance between pull boxes is 50 feet. The National Fire Protection Association (NFPA) 70 provides recommendations for pull box placement. On straight runs, NFPA 70 suggests a maximum spacing of 100 feet, similar to the NEC requirement. However, for bends, NFPA 70 recommends a tighter spacing of no more than 30 feet between pull boxes. It's important to note that local codes and regulations may have specific requirements that supersede the NEC and NFPA recommendations. Always check with the local authority having jurisdiction to determine the exact pull box spacing requirements for your area. Besides code requirements, several other factors influence pull box placement. Firstly, accessibility is crucial. Pull boxes need to be easily accessible for maintenance and emergency response. Ensure there is enough clearance around the pull box for personnel to work safely. Secondly, the size and number of cables within the conduit run affect pull box spacing. Larger cables or a greater number of cables increase friction during pulling, potentially requiring more frequent pull boxes. Thirdly, the type of conduit being used also plays a role. Different conduit materials, such as EMT, electrical metallic tubing, or PVC, polyvinyl chloride, have varying frictional characteristics, impacting the pulling force needed. For a conduit run of approximately 300 feet, the following pull box placement is generally recommended. Firstly, for straight runs, place pull boxes every 100 feet. Secondly, for bends, place pull boxes every 50 feet according to the NEC or every 30 feet according to the NFPA 70 recommendation. Using this approach, a 300-foot straight run would require 3 pull boxes, one at the 100-foot mark, one at the 200-foot mark, and one at the 300-foot mark. If the 300-foot run involves bends, the number of pull boxes needed may increase. For example, if there is a 90-degree bend at the 120-foot mark, a pull box would be required at that location. Then, another pull box would be needed at the 170-foot mark, according to NEC, or 150-foot mark, according to NFPA 70. The placement of pull boxes is essential for ensuring that electrical cables can be installed and maintained safely and efficiently. Consider cable pulling tension. Exceeding maximum pulling tension can damage cable insulation and conductors. Using appropriately spaced pull boxes reduces pulling tension. The NEC provides guidance on maximum pulling tension based on cable size and type. Follow manufacturer recommendations for cable pulling tension limits. Friction is also a key consideration. Friction between the cable and conduit increases pulling tension. Using cable lubricants reduces friction. Select lubricants compatible with the cable insulation and conduit material. The number of bends in a conduit run significantly impacts pulling tension. Minimize the number of bends where possible. Use gradual bends instead of sharp bends. Consider the conduit fill ratio. Overfilling a conduit increases friction and makes cable pulling more difficult. The NEC specifies maximum conduit fill ratios based on the number and size of conductors. The type of cable being installed affects pull box spacing. Cables with heavier insulation or larger conductors require more frequent pull boxes. Ensure the pull box is adequately sized for the cables being pulled through it. The NEC provides guidelines on pull box sizing based on the number and size of conductors and conduit entries. The working space around pull boxes must comply with NEC requirements. Sufficient working space ensures safe access for maintenance and repairs. The location of the pull box should minimize exposure to environmental factors such as moisture and extreme temperatures. These factors can degrade cable insulation and conduit. Consider using weather-tight pull boxes in damp or outdoor locations. The installation method for the conduit also affects pull box spacing. Direct buried conduit may require different pull box spacing compared to conduit installed in a building. Ensure proper grounding and bonding of pull boxes to maintain electrical safety. The NEC specifies grounding and bonding requirements for pull boxes and conduit systems. Use appropriate connectors and fittings to ensure a secure and reliable connection between the conduit and pull box. The weight of the cable being pulled through the conduit is a factor in pull box spacing. Heavier cables may require more frequent pull boxes to reduce stress on the cable and conduit. Consider using cable support devices to further reduce stress on the cable during pulling. Proper planning is essential for determining optimal pull box locations. Review the conduit layout and cable schedule carefully before installation. Consult with experienced electricians or engineers to determine the most appropriate pull box spacing for your specific application. Document the location of all pull boxes for future maintenance and troubleshooting. Maintain accurate records of the cable types and sizes installed in each conduit run. Regularly inspect pull boxes for signs of damage or corrosion. Replace any damaged or corroded pull boxes promptly to maintain electrical safety. Consider future expansion when determining pull box locations. Provide sufficient capacity in the pull box and conduit system to accommodate future cable additions. The cost of pull boxes and installation labor should be factored into the overall project budget. Select pull boxes that are appropriate for the environmental conditions and the type of cables being installed. Consider using pull boxes with removable covers for easy access and maintenance. Ensure that pull box covers are securely fastened to prevent accidental opening. Provide adequate labeling for pull boxes to identify the circuits and cables contained within. Use cable ties or other securing devices to keep cables organized within the pull box. Avoid over-tightening cable ties, as this can damage cable insulation. Ensure that all cable splices and terminations within the pull box are properly insulated and secured. Follow manufacturer recommendations for cable splicing and termination procedures. Consider using prefabricated pull boxes to save time and labor during installation. Prefabricated pull boxes are available in a variety of sizes and configurations. Ensure that prefabricated pull boxes comply with all applicable codes and standards. Inspect prefabricated pull boxes for any signs of damage before installation. Use appropriate tools and equipment for installing pull boxes and conduit systems. Follow safe work practices when installing pull boxes and working with electrical cables. Wear appropriate personal protective equipment (PPE) such as gloves and safety glasses. To energize electrical circuits before working on pull boxes or conduit systems. Lockout-tagout procedures should be followed to prevent accidental energization of circuits. Properly dispose of any scrap materials generated during pull box installation. Follow environmental regulations for the disposal of electrical waste. Keep pull boxes clean and free of debris to prevent fire hazards and maintain electrical safety. Regularly inspect pull boxes for signs of water intrusion. Address any water intrusion issues promptly to prevent corrosion and electrical damage. Consider using pull boxes with drainage holes to prevent water accumulation. Ensure that drainage holes are not obstructed by debris. Use corrosion-resistant materials for pull boxes and conduit systems in harsh environments. Stainless steel and aluminum are common corrosion-resistant materials. Consider using epoxy-coated pull boxes for added protection against corrosion. Regularly inspect epoxy-coated pull boxes for any signs of damage or peeling. Touch up any damaged areas with epoxy paint to prevent corrosion. Use appropriate grounding bushings and bonding jumpers to ensure proper grounding and bonding of pull boxes. The size of the grounding bushing and bonding jumper should be based on the size of the conductor. Follow NEC requirements for grounding and bonding conductor sizing. Consider using insulated grounding bushings to prevent galvanic corrosion. Galvanic corrosion can occur when dissimilar metals are in contact with each other in a wet environment. Insulated grounding bushings provide a barrier between the dissimilar metals. Use appropriate conduit supports to prevent sagging or displacement of conduit runs. The spacing of conduit support should be based on the size and type of conduit. Follow NEC requirements for conduit support spacing. Consider using seismic bracing for conduit systems in earthquake-prone areas. Seismic bracing helps to prevent damage to conduit systems during earthquakes. Use appropriate expansion fittings for conduit systems that are subject to thermal expansion and contraction. Thermal expansion and contraction can cause stress on conduit systems and lead to damage. Expansion fittings allow for movement of the conduit system without putting stress on the system. Follow manufacturer recommendations for the installation of expansion fittings. Consider using flexible conduit connectors in areas where vibration or movement is expected. Flexible conduit connectors help to absorb vibration and movement and prevent damage to the conduit system. Use appropriate sealing compounds to prevent moisture from entering conduit systems. Sealing compounds should be compatible with the conduit and cable materials. Follow manufacturer recommendations for the application of sealing compounds. Consider using heat shrink tubing to seal conduit connections. Heat shrink tubing provides a watertight seal and protects against corrosion. Use appropriate cable pulling grips to prevent damage to cables during pulling. Cable pulling grips should be sized appropriately for the cable being pulled. Follow manufacturer recommendations for the use of cable pulling grips. Consider using cable pulling equipment such as cable pullers and tuggers to reduce the amount of manual labor required for cable pulling. Cable pulling equipment should be operated by trained personnel. Follow safe work practices when using cable pulling equipment. Use appropriate cable lubricants to reduce friction during cable pulling. Cable lubricants should be compatible with the cable insulation and conduit materials. Follow manufacturer recommendations for the application of cable lubricants. Consider using a cable blowing system to install cables in long conduit runs. Cable blowing systems use compressed air to propel the cable through the conduit. Cable blowing systems can significantly reduce the time and labor required for cable installation. Cable blowing systems should be operated by trained personnel. Follow safe work practices when using cable blowing systems.